What's up, everybody? Appreciate you tuning in for another episode of Bench Burn Sports. We're talking about what's going on with the welterweight division. It's going to be another Stoking the Coals episode. We're going to be kind of touching on what happened at UFC London. Not going to be touching on the card a whole lot just because it was a kind of a dud. But we are going to be talking about what is going to happen with the welterweight division just because Sean Brady versus Leon had a lot of implications, and the way he won, the dominance which he did it with, is going to be interesting to see how it goes forward from here. So we're going to be talking about that for a second. It's going to be a quick episode, probably 15, 20 minutes. So appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Knuckles, what do you got, buddy?
Yeah, man. I'm here. I'm ready to talk about it. Going to avoid talking about London as much as possible because that was just apologize to everybody. I said that this would be a great card. I apologize for that. I deeply, deeply regret saying that. But yeah, excited to talk about this because this is honestly low key one of the best divisions in the sport right now. Maybe not everybody thinks that, but at the top, it's very top heavy. But the ones at the top, it's probably one of the best top 5 to 10s in the entire sport. So yeah, excited to talk about it. Love talking about these guys. So ready to talk about it. Squared, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I agree with you that welterweight is a very fun division. It's always been one of my favorites, just because I feel like the kind of athletes you get in that division are like you get a wide variety of like different kind of body types, sort of like same as we've talked about before at middleweight, but at welterweight it's just like the athleticism and the speed. They're all there. It's just like the perfect blend. So it's always been one of my favorites. That kind of faded a little bit over the past year or two. It was real fun when Kamaru was champ, and I wasn't even a big Kamaru fan. It was just fun back when he was champ. But I kind of feel that coming back. I feel like we're kind of getting back into a new era of the division. So, yeah, let's talk about the future of this division.
Yeah, it's funny because, like you said, it used to be a great division and then died off. One of the things that is crazy to me is like 2, 3 years ago, this division was everybody thought it was just going away. Like going to be another light heavyweight, another middleweight, because you had like Kamaru's champion, and while he was a dominant champion, what else did we have? We had Colby Covington, like Tyron Woodley, Bilal Muhammad.
You had Masvidal, who was
Masvidal,
even
but
though he wasn't great,
he wasn't like
he was fun.
super high
Burns
for that.
And he got a lot of.
So I mean, you had a top 5 Gilbert Burns, and at the time, that was back when like Gilbert Burns, nobody really liked him. He really.
That is true. Yeah,
I thought a lot of people did not like Gilbert.
I thought he was going to be champion. I thought Burns was going to be champion. I'm not going to lie. I thought like he was beating the shit out.
I love Gilbert Burns. Now, don't get me wrong, but there was a time back in like 2020 where people just was like, "Who is this guy?" Like,
yeah, nobody knew who he was. They knew him as the guy who got knocked out.
They saw him get a title. Yeah, they saw him get a title shot, and they were just like, "Oh, this guy got a title shot."
If it makes you feel any better, Knuckles, there was a time where I didn't think he would be champion, but there was a time where I thought Vicente Luque would be
that's another one.
Strong contender.
Oh, everybody did, dude. Everybody thought
everybody at that time, Vicente Luque in 2020 was the up and coming guy that everybody thought was gonna be the one. And then now all of a sudden, in the last like 2-3 years, you have these guys like Shavkat, Ian Gary, Jack Della Maddalena,
Joaquin
Buckley that just came out of nowhere. Dude, I'm thinking of Morales.
Sean Brady. Oh, Michael Morales, yeah.
Sean Brady, like all these guys coming out of nowhere, and it's become one of the most exciting divisions in the UFC and filled with young talent. That's what it needed, and that's what it got. Credit to Hunter and Dana and all them, Sean Shelby for McMaynard for putting together an insane division, because like now we're just in a point where you don't know what's going to happen because we're in such a weird spot with Shavkat with the injuries. You have Sean Brady, who just had a dominant win over the most recent champion besides Bilal Muhammad. You have Jack Della Maddalena fighting for the belt. So you're in a weird spot of what do you do? Ian Gary's coming off a loss. You have MVP, who's fought some of the best in the world. He's coming off of a win.
At middleweight.
You also like Another guy I forgot to mention. Obviously, he's not competing for a belt anytime soon. But Wonder Boy, he's still there for he's probably going to be a gatekeeper going forward. But still credit to him. He's one of the best ever. It's a weird spot, man. It's so odd.
It's one division revamped. Only about 3 or 4 more to go. Let's go, UFC. You got that.
Yeah. I mean, even look at that division outside of the top 15. I mean, you got guys. They're not they're exciting guys. I mean, you got guys like Brian Battle, who is exciting when he can be. You've got the Bonfim boy, one of the Bonfim brothers, Gabriel. He's fun. Renat, he's not exciting, but he's good. I mean, Nicholas Dalby, he's not young, but that guy, put him against a Brazilian, he's going to win. You got people. I've got it listed up here. You got Prochess right on the outside of the top 15, going to get ready to crack. I think he might be 15, but he's going to get ready to crack. You got Chidi and Jukwani, who just beat ZDS in a very exciting way. Chaos Williams, who's always exciting. Carlos Leal, who is 100% on steroids, but still is a beast. I mean, he beat the absolute dog shit out of Alex Morono. Puna Soriano, who saw that coming? That dude's starting to tear through the welterweight after going back or after moving from middleweight. I mean, that's what I'm saying, dude. You just got a bunch of dudes that are coming and looking great. Oban Elliott, obviously Mike Malot's still there. Austin Vanderford finally made his UFC debut, and then obviously you've got the GOAT Mickey Gall. Yeah.
Is he still on the fucking roster?
He's literally, if you look at any rankings, there's I think 69 active fighters right now in the welterweight division. He's 69 at every single list. Like he's that bad.
What are we doing?
Nice. Has anybody mentioned Neil Magny yet? Come on now.
I mean, shout out Neil Magny. He's just put him against anybody. He could win, he could lose. He's the Michael Johnson of the welterweight.
He's like
I don't know if I'd give him that credit at this point. Dude, listen, I love Neil Magny. He's a GOAT of the sport. He's awesome, but dude, he just doesn't have it anymore.
Isn't he getting ready to fight again? Another prospect.
He's a good gatekeeper for the top 15, where it's like Wonder Boy is more of like a top 5, top 10.
That's true.
Yeah. Gatekeeper.
If you can beat Neil Magny, you belong in the top 15. If you can't, you don't. And then same with Wonder Boy. Well, it depends though too, because
Jeff Neal is another. I feel like he's kind of accidentally found himself in the gatekeeper position.
Yeah, Jeff Neal, I feel like is kind of like a dark horse at any point in time. Like, I mean, he gave Shavkat outside of Ian Gary. He gave Shavkat his toughest test.
He did, but I just think, I don't know, man. That top, like the real top 5, even if they're not ranked that way in the UFC, like those young top 5 guys are just probably going to be duking it out for the next 10 years. And then obviously you have some other young, really good guys like you said, Carlos Prochess. I think he'll be right up there with him. And Brian Battle will probably compete in the top 10. I think he'll be top 10. But
I think he'll be top 15 at best, my opinion.
But I think he'll be top 10. But regardless, you got a few guys that are just going to be throwing it down at the top for a long time, and then you have other guys that are going to be on the outside looking in, just gatekeeping, like Jeff Neal, like you said, Wonder Boy, Neil Magny, those kind of guys. And I mean, the division is insane right now. It's turning into one of my favorite, if not my favorite division.
It's just interesting. My problem with the division right now, only problem is I wish everybody could stay healthy more often, because you got issues with like Shavkat staying healthy with I know Brady's had some health issues in the past. He's doing good now, but JDM JDM hasn't fought since the Burns win, and he's getting a title shot for that, which was like a year ago. So it's
Leon has some problems.
Yeah, Leon, Kamaru, obviously, like, where the fuck is, like, hey, can we talk about, there we go. What is he doing? What's going on?
I don't see him coming back to welterweight. I know that's his plan, but I just don't see it.
Okay, if he does, who does he fight?
If he does, maybe
Ian Gary? Yeah, well, that'd probably be the fight.
But I just don't know if I see him being able to cut that weight anymore, especially if he's been hurt, because you haven't seen anything from him. There's been no fight rumors, no fight news. He's got to be.
There's been rumors. There was rumors of like Shavkat and like there's rumors that Buckley and him are in talks right now, but it's like very light rumors. Like they're
I don't
like
think Shavkat. Oh, Shavkat.
he says, yeah, like the whole Shavkat was his name was thrown in the hat whenever Ian Gary took the fight. Also, Kamaru had to watch that fight and be like, why the fuck did I not take this fight? Because Gary was doing Shavkat, Kamaru could have won that fight. Like if because Shavkat was hurt, Kamaru could have won that fight. I guarantee you that motherfucker's punching him in his face right now, being like, "Why did I not take that fight?" Because it would have you would have been back in the title picture.
I just don't know if he can make the weight. I don't know if he can make the weight on a consistent.
He can make. I think he can make the weight. I think the issue.
Well, that's just, his knees don't work. You got to use your knees to cut weight. I just don't think his knees work anymore.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we've already heard
stories
of having to walk upstairs backwards, like walking grass instead of the sidewalk. That's no.
Well, watch videos of when he walks. He looks like he looks like an old man in pain.
Exactly, and eventually that's just not gonna work anymore when you're cutting weight. There's just no way. There's no physical way that you can keep doing that once you're into your mid to high 30s.
Yeah,
he is there
for sure.
There's just no way. There's physically. Your body can't do it. Like, I just refuse to believe that. What is he going to do? Starve himself?
Right. I totally get it. I got a question.
You got to see a world where it's just not going to happen. I'm going to, really quick before you go, I'm going to, hot take, I don't think Kamaru Usman ever fights at welterweight again. If ever again.
I think he's gonna fight Buckley. I think that's the next fight. I think it is.
I just don't think he can do it. I don't think he can make the weight.
It could be fair. I mean, I think he can. I think it's more because again, if he fights again, it's going to be non-title, so he just has to make 171. Which I know that everybody acts like that's like super close to 170, but fighters have said 171 is like here's something.
Dude, he's got a lot of weight to cut with
right.
Knees.
He's 6 foot. Yeah, he's
37 years old too. 37.
I just think he should.
Almost 30. He'll be 38 on May 11th.
If he's gonna do it, he's got to do it now. He's got to go now because
I think if they book him at weight, I think he misses weight. 100%.
Well, there's a couple things I want to bring up, and then I'll go. I've been talking a lot, but first thing I want to ask: is there a curse for champions at welterweight when they lose the belt? Because look at it. So look at this. GSP vacated. Ever since then, every champion that has been a champion has, like, after they lose the belt, have just looked fucking horrendous. The only person that hasn't looked absolutely god awful is like Kamaru's looked okay, even though he's lost 3 in a row, and Robbie Lawler. But Robbie Lawler was fighting favorable matchups outside of the Ben Askren one. But what I mean is,
besides that,
huh?
What are the examples besides that? Besides like Leon?
Okay, so welterweight, right? Johnny Hendricks won the title afterwards. Look at what happened to him. That motherfucker fell off of a cliff, like bad. USADA got him. And then Robbie Lawler had a great run, and then he lost to Tyron in a very bad way, and then he just kind of like mixed in won losses. He definitely like legitimately right after he lost the title, he looked like a fraction of himself. He was still excited, but he didn't look like Robbie of old, like at all. And then after that, you had Tyron and then when he lost, he might have had the worst fall off of them all. Like he looked so fucking bad in every outing. And then after that, you had Kamaru, and then Kamaru's lost 3 in a row since then. Like, I mean, he's looked competitive in most of them, but like he still has not won and is now sitting out, and we're not knowing what's going on. And then Leon, I mean, even after Leon won the title, he kind of looked like dog shit against Colby. So, like, you had Leon, and then he looked really terrible against Bilal, and even worse against Sean Brady. Is there like a curse? Is there like did GSP like fucking contact the aliens and put a curse on the division after he left? He's like, no, fuck you guys. Nobody can have success after me. Like, because legitimately, we haven't.
Say about Alex? He had Magic, dude.
Huh?
I said,
Yeah,
what did
yeah, the black mat, that
yeah,
black
the
magic,
black magic.
dude. Yeah, I mean, honestly though, like, isn't it odd though that like usually when somebody loses the belt, they don't fall off a cliff that bad. They kind of mix wins and losses and stuff. Like, um, I mean, maybe lower weight divisions more so, but like the welterweight division, they have all just looked like absolute shit after they've lost, or like they've lost a bunch. I don't know what it's about, man. It's like it's super intriguing because I mean, I think once Bilal loses, I don't know how many matchups against these young bucks he's gonna win. So he's gonna look like shit. And then what after that? I mean, you've got Dov, which I think he's gonna hold on for a while. But I feel like when he falls off, he's probably gonna fall off hard because he has injury problems, just like Kamaru does. And then if JDM beats Bilal, JDM's not holding that belt very long. I'm sorry, but he ain't fucking holding that belt very long. And I think when he loses, he's going to lose to people like Sean Brady. He's going to lose to people like I don't know. Ian Gary's a very interesting matchup, but Sean Brady, Joaquin Buckley, that's a favorable matchup for Buckley because he's just going to wrestle him. I mean, any wrestler, Michael Morales could grapple him. That's what I'm saying. Like every future champion, I feel like their path after they lose is just going to be fucking drop off, man. I don't know. That's all I'm saying. It's just weird. There's like a curse on the division. It's weird.
I think for
But
a lot of them, it's a mix. For some of them, it's just like they got old, and
Yeah.
right.
that's what cost them the title. And then after that, they're only getting older, so they
Yeah.
continue to lose. And for a handful of them, their weaknesses got exposed. Like Leon, we saw his weakness get absolutely put on a showcase over the weekend, and now that's going to be the clear path to victory if you're fighting Leon.
Yeah, I was literally thinking the same exact thing. I think it's just a combination of coincidences.
Right.
I do see your point because it does feel that way to a certain degree. But Robbie Lawler was getting older, and it's
He
not
was
even
old,
that he
yeah.
was really getting older. It's just he had fought so many times in the UFC, taken so much damage. Eventually, that's going to catch up to you. It doesn't matter who you are. And then you got guys like he said, like Leon. Their weaknesses getting exposed, just the grappling, just strong young grapplers. Uh, and I think it's also a combo of just MMA is evolving all the time. It's such a young sport.
Right.
People forget that so consistently. Where we're at 10 years ago to now, even in MMA, is just so different. It's night and day, completely different sport. You see guys now that are just so much more well-rounded, so much faster, their cardio stronger, like just guys that like how football's been around for 100 years. If you look at football 50 years ago compared to what it is to now, you wouldn't even think it was the same sport. And I think
Right.
it is
Same
still
way with baseball, yeah.
progressing at a much quicker rate. And all those things combined, I just think it's bound to happen for any division. It does happen in every division. The same resumes you gave at welterweight can go for middleweight. I mean, look at Israel Adesanya. Look at
Yeah, he's falling off that.
Israel Adesanya. Look at fucking short, stocky dude. Kelvin Gastelum.
Gastelum, yeah.
I mean, dude, the list goes on. Michael Bisping, Luke Rock. The list goes on and on in that division. Light
That is
heavyweight, we
true.
barely have a division anymore. Heavyweight, which heavyweight, I guess that kind of gets a pass because that's just always kind of been one or two guys at the top and then everybody else. But like even when you're talking about like bantamweight, featherweight, like it's just such a different.
I think those lighter divisions are easier to stick around at. I mean, because we've seen a lot of guys. Like, I mean,
the talent has been there for a while, so it's a little different. But once you're talking about these like intermediate weight classes, like from like lightweight through middleweight, the game just progresses so fast because the sport is so young, and I think we forget that sometimes. Yes, all those things are true from the even from the curses to the logistical reasons as to why it comes down to the sport's just going to always evolve, and there's always going to be somebody better. I mean, we've seen Dagestani wrestling fall off kind of in the last year, not as dominant. Umar just lost to Magomed, and I know Umar is not a Dagestani wrestler per se. He started out in striking, but just something to think about. I don't know. I just think we're evolving as a sport, and
Right.
Man, Magomed Davalishvili is really good though.
Oh, man. Yeah, he'd be pissed. Fucking heard me call him that. He hates those fuckers.
So, what do you guys think of like the future? I mean, the whole reason we started this was future of the division. I mean, what's next for Sean Brady? You guys think?
I think since I never got the chance to speak, you assholes.
He's been shut out the whole time.
I was literally gonna.
Thank you. I'm just gonna have faith that you actually mean that, but
well, you did it anyways.
Yeah. Hey, anyways, what's next for Sean needs to be a title fight, and that's kind of why I was really interested in doing this topic. Was it needs to be a title fight? I don't necessarily know that it will be because I know Shavkat was already given a title shot. Of course, that never came to fruition, and then it kind of was supposed to happen again, but now he's injured. The first time around, it was Bilal was injured. Now he's injured, so that's just like pretty unfortunate. But if you'd ask me who deserves the title shot and that's the difference. Who I think will get the next title shot after JDM and Bilal will be Shavkat. Who deserves it more, I think, is Sean Brady.
Interested to see why you think that.
Because he beat the number one contender and a former champion, whereas Shavkat barely scraped by Ian Gary, who is a good win, but Ian Gary, who's the best person he beat. And then before that, it was Wonder Boy. And that doesn't mean a whole lot in the big 2024, whenever that fight happened.
So he beat Kelvin Gastelum.
Who
should not have been a welterweight. Lost to
Bilal he beat a middleweight. Yeah, he beat a middleweight. Beat Gilbert Burns.
Yeah,
who was about to beat the guy who's getting the title shot right now.
Beat Leon.
And then destroyed Leon with a finish.
But before that, he beat Chiesa.
Okay, you're back in 2021 now.
Yeah, exactly, because he hasn't fought that much in the last couple of years.
Lost the ball. Again, Shavkat. He beat Ian. Beat Ian.
To be fair, he's fought once a year.
Okay.
Since 2021. And Shavkat has beaten
Ian Gary.
But he's fought consistently.
Okay. That's not what gets you titles.
He hasn't.
Kevin Holland fighting for a title next if activity is what got you a title.
He fought.
Shavkat didn't fight for like a year and some change after the Stephen Thompson win. So he's not super active either.
That's true.
Yeah, but he fought twice in 2023, twice in 2022. More than Sean Brady has.
You're going back in 20. We're talking about right here, right now. Who deserves the title shot more? The guy who beat the last champion and the number one
The guy that's
contender?
undefeated that hasn't lost to anyone?
I'm not going to be mad that he's getting the next title shot.
Here's my argument. This is where I'm going with this. I don't think that Sean Brady deserves a title shot necessarily. I don't think that Shavkat should get a title shot necessarily. I think you make them fight as the number one contender fight. And then whoever.
I don't know if that's a good business decision.
I think it's a great business decision.
I think one of them will become champion, and then you could have them fight each other.
No, I think you have them fight now, and then whoever loses fight somebody, wins that fight, and then you have them rematch for the belt.
Why don't you just have one of those guys fight next? That's the best part of the position they're in, where either guy could get the title shot next. If
Shavkat can come back soon, obviously we don't know where Shavkat is with his health, but if he can come back soon. Brady took no damage in that fight.
Right.
Have them fight like 2 months after
I don't think it's right that neither of these guys, because I think if Brady doesn't get the title shot, then it needs to be Shavkat. I don't think it's right that neither of these guys get a title shot next. That's definitely not right.
I don't think that's true.
And then easily one of them can become champion.
I think Brady still has
them fight each other.
Dude, I love Sean Brady. I think he has one more prove it fight. Have him versus Shavkat.
Beating the number one guy is proven it to me. With your only loss being to the current champion.
See where you're coming from. I do. But that's his first fight that was just like, wow, that guy looks really good. Other than before he was ranked.
Siri disagrees with you. That's what happened.
I mean, even the Gilbert Burns fight, it was impressive, but it wasn't anything crazy. He just fucking laid on him for 3 rounds. If I remember correctly.
I don't think you remember correctly, but I don't really remember it either. So
No, he boxed the fuck. No, he boxed.
It was a stand-up.
Well, he also got outboxed got destroyed by the current champion. Destroyed.
By the current champion.
Murdered.
Shavkat went tooth and nail with Ian Gary, who I think that win will age well, but it hasn't aged at all yet. So we don't know. And then Jeff Neal.
Exactly. So we should see him fight, and then the winner gets the title fight. Thank you for proving
that. Does not prove your point at all.
Can I make my argument here?
Yeah.
Y'all's arguments are really good. But we're forgetting about Joaquin Buckley too. I'm just saying. He beat Colby Covington. He beat Wonderboy. He knocked Wonderboy the fuck out. Something that Shavkat couldn't do. He had to sub him, which I mean, a sub's impressive too. He's on a run here. He's being active. He's being around there. So here's how I would stack up the welterweight division. So Bilal and JDM fight each other. Shavkat gets the winner. I think that Leon fights Ian Gary next. Ian Gary beats the dog shit out of Leon. Joaquin Buckley and Sean Brady fight for the number 1 contender spot for the person who's going to fight the winner of Shavkat and Bilal. And then you have those two fight the winner of that. You have JDM fight Colby Covington if he loses, or whoever wins or loses fights Colby next in the title fight. Or whoever loses the title fight fights Colby or something like that along those lines. That's kind of how I see it. So you got Ian Leon, Joaquin Sean, Bilal JDM, Leon Ian. I think I said that already. And then you got people like Michael Morales waiting in the wing. You could even have Michael Morales fight because he's going to beat who's he fighting next? He's fighting Gilbert Burns. He's probably going to beat Gilbert Burns. So you have Michael Morales fight Carlos Praches after Praches beats Jeff Neal, and that sets you up your next contender in line. And boom, there you go. Or you have any number of those guys just beat the dog shit out of these old contenders coming up. I mean, that's options too. So, that's how I would do it. I think that Brady versus Buckley is a fucking super interesting fight. Now, the caveat in that is if Kamaru decides to come back, have Sean fight Kamaru. I know that it doesn't make sense because he just beat the champ, but that's a statement fight. If Sean can show that he can beat a grappler like Kamaru, which personally I'd probably pick Sean right now, or have Buckley fight Kamaru. That's another option. And Sean, again, not super active. He could just sit around and wait for I don't know, the loser of the title fight, something, or I don't know, just wait around. Also, there's an option too that maybe JDM or Bilal doesn't even make it to the title fight. And Brady said he's fucking ready to get back in there. Slot him in May. Low key, if I had my druthers and I was,
Where's that fight again?
Montreal. If I had my druthers, if I was the person picking, and you can't do this, but I would just fucking pull JDM from that title fight and say, here you go, Sean.
Let me let you finish, but then I've got something to say.
No, that's it. I'm just because I think that title fight's just.
I do gotta say your consistent slander of JDM is crazy.
No, he's good. He's good, but dude, let me tell you, he hasn't fought in a year at least. He barely hold on. Barely beat Gilbert Burns, but he did beat him by KO. He was going to lose that fight if it went to decision. Barely beat Kevin Holland. I think I actually had Holland winning that on my cards. And Basil Hafez took him to the fucking brink of insanity. Basil Hafez. Let me repeat that one more time. Basil
On a week
Hafez.
notice, totally different fighter.
Basil Hafez. Let me say, I don't care if it's a week's notice or not. Basil Hafez almost beat that man. So the same guy that Obon Elliott fucking knocked out and then Hulk Hogan posed on. Just a reminder. And Obon Elliott
glitching in the background.
And he has these fucking stumbling.
I don't know why that cracked me up that much. Max just typed in JDM and it just said Japanese domestic market.
But anyway, but what were you gonna say?
Also, just beat the fuck out of Gilbert Burns, which you guys were just defending a second ago. So
no, he was losing the fight up until the last literal minute.
Okay, well, anyway. So here's my thing. Also, another hot take. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go. Trust me. I'm still not sold on Joaquin Buckley. I'm still not sold.
That's fair. That's fair.
He's beat washed ass fighters. Colby Covington, Stephen Thompson.
But people don't just knock out. The last person to knock out Stephen Thompson was Anthony Pettis off of a freak KO.
Yeah, but let's not pretend that Stephen Thompson has looked good lately.
He looked pretty damn good versus Holland.
He looked pretty good.
Okay. Kevin Holland also broke his hand in the first round. Yes, Nursultan. That was my exception. Luque also has not looked good. That was 2024. He's not looked good since like 2022.
He looked pretty good against Themba, but
who?
Luque looked pretty good against Themba.
Yeah, I mean it's
Fialho again. This was Fialho after the Jake Matthews fight, but
yeah, it was Fialho who's not in the UFC anymore.
Then he also beat that Dagestani at middleweight. That's impressive. That carries over a little bit.
Dude, I'm just not sold. Look, I'm not saying
no, that's fair.
That he's not. I'm not saying that he's not gonna compete there. He just got to prove it more than what he's done so far. So I don't think. I mean, I think he needs a top 5 opponent, but there's a lot of guys that will be on the other side of the octagon of him that I will not pick him against, and I've regretted it every time I've done it so far, but I don't think I will this time. But we'll see. Anyways.
I was just going to say, so I remember the commentary booth mentioned this at one point when they were kind of looking for someone short to step in on short notice versus Bilal. And one of the names they said was Joaquin Buckley. I truly think that not that he is not to say anything about JDM, not to say that he's better than JDM, not to say that JDM doesn't have a chance versus Bilal, anything, not to say that Joaquin's got a chance himself versus Bilal, but I thought that made more sense. The guy who's fought way more recently, beat, yes, a washed Colby.
But Colby was higher ranked. Colby was higher ranked than Gilbert Burns.
And he did it pretty damn decisively, whereas that Burns
beating the fuck out of him.
Was pretty ugly. The JDM over Burns was a pretty ugly win, and it was a long ass time ago.
You're talking about bad for business. At least JDM has been getting finishes.
See, the thing is, I think what they're looking at when they make the Bilal and JDM fight.
What do you get before that? A knockout?
No.
And then what do you get before that? A knockout?
No. One of those was a decision. Decision split. Oh, that's JDM.
Over who? Office.
But let's see. So yes.
I think that
knockout, decision, knockout, decision, knockout. Okay.
Against Morono and Fialho.
Who are we talking about?
You're moving the goalpost here. Talking about.
I mean, I'm not moving anything.
He's pretty much just tried to accuse Buckley of being like a decision merchant or something.
Okay, but you said against Fialho, you said against Fialho and Morono, but then like again, JDM versus Basil Hafez. He went to fucking decision, and it was a split decision against Basil fucking Hafez. Fucking Buckley is beating people decisively. It's not close. JDM, every fight he's been in has been so like every fight. It's like he's on the fucking brink of winning or losing. The only one that he won very, very decisively, and I was impressed by, was Randy Brown. That was a very good performance.
I like a dude with a dog, and what can I say?
But like the reason that they made the JDM fight with Bilal was what
Because
looks
Sean
good.
Paul-
Well, it's what looks good optically. It is what is good optically. Like nobody likes Buckley. Let's be honest. I mean, I think people do, but nobody likes him as much as they do JDM. So they see JDM and they see that JDM can fucking crack, and they're like, okay, JDM has a chance to knock out Bilal. Great. Or they're looking at it like this is just a good placeholder until Shavkat comes back. You know.
Yeah, it was definitely a business decision. All I was trying to say was that Buckley, not even as like a better fight, not even like anything, it just made more sense to give it to Buckley.
I think it's a better
I
fight.
get why they went with that. I get why they went with
I think
that.
it's a better fight.
Buckley's ranked 6th. He's beat bigger names, but at the time he beat those names, they were not ranked high either. You got to remember that.
What was Gilbert ranked?
That's a good question. That's what I was about to ask. Gilbert was still ranked pretty high when JDM beat him, I think. I mean, JDM is 4, so I would imagine Gilbert was 4 or 3.
I don't know.
But Buckley is 6. When he beat,
but then Buckley beat like number 3 fucking Colby. That's what I don't understand.
No, he didn't. He was not number 3 at the time. That was after he lost to what's his fucking name? He was not number
Leon.
3.
He lost to Leon for the title.
Well,
it's hard to find.
I'm trying to look at the poster, and the picture's all blurry, so it doesn't help.
Number 6. Covington was ranked 6 when he fought Buckley.
Yeah, we knew that. I'm trying to figure out what Burns was when he fought JDM.
Well, no, Knuckles just said he was ranked like 4 or whatever, or higher.
Maybe. Oh, here, no. There.
Hang on.
This will tell me he was, number 4.
Yeah, so there we go.
And getting ragdolled.
He was. Yeah, but he was still number 4 in the world. That's the thing. Like the rankings, as much as the UFC says it doesn't matter, it matters to a certain degree. And JDM beat the number 4 guy in the world in the rankings, and Buckley beat a number 8 Wonder Boy and a number 6 Covington.
And JDM also went to
here we go.
Almost lost to Gilbert Burns.
Oh, almost. If we almost dropped the nuke on Hiroshima, then it wouldn't be a fucking nuke, would it?
No, I think it would still be a nuke. We just didn't drop it on.
Yeah. Well, Hiroshima would still be as it was in 1940, wouldn't it?
They're actually doing pretty good these days.
They are. They look pretty cool. Hiroshima's pretty dope. But I'm just saying, you look at the rankings, you look where each fighter, you guys are talking about name value. And yes, that holds some weight, but we're also contradicting ourselves because we talk shit about that all the time. We also talk shit about the rankings all the time, which we should, because the ranking system is dumb, but it is there. And if we just start ignoring it, then what the fuck are we doing rankings for?
I think this is all great conjecture, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day because Shavkat's going to probably beat 90% of these guys.
Can I say this? One thing that's going to be very telling that we're going to probably have found out by the time that this pod hits the airwaves, as the youngins say. It'll be interesting to see how they deal with the rankings tomorrow. It's Monday for anybody watching right now. It's Monday as we're filming this. Tomorrow the rankings will come out. It'll be interesting to see if, obviously Leon's going to drop. Is Sean going to take that spot, or is Shavkat going to get moved up from 2 to 1, and then
they'll hold Shavkat? They'll put Shavkat at 1.
I kind of see them pushing Shavkat up to 1, and then which is pretty shitty. Which is pretty shitty that Sean Brady's going to earn Shavkat the number 1 ranking, and then he goes to number 2. That's fucked up.
It is.
That's fucked up.
Here's my conjecture to that. It is, but is it? Because
it is.
Is it though?
It is
because Shavkat has still never lost. He's been on a tear. The only thing that's held him back, he had an injury, yes, but before that, he was supposed to fight for the belt, and the champion had the injury.
Shit happens.
How much are
And
we
then
gonna
other
apologize?
people jump
Or how
ahead
much
of
are we gonna? How much are we gonna penalize people for injuries when it's not always their fault? There was 2 injuries in the 2-fight schedule.
Well, I'll
One
tell
with
you
him
this:
and
you don't penalize them, but you also don't grant them opportunities off of other people's victories.
It's not granting opportunities off other people. He already has had the opportunity twice. Yes, he fell out once. The other time, the champion fell
last
out.
time too.
And he's also undefeated and has beat every single person that they put in front of him. Sean Brady cannot say the same thing.
Dude, I'm just saying he didn't earn that number 1 spot. Sean Brady did it by beating the number 1 guy. And that's still not to say that he's not, Shavkat's going to get the title shot. And he can fight that as number 2, which is what he deserves because that's where he's gotten himself. Sean Brady has gotten himself the number 1 ranking.
No, he hasn't.
Yes, he has. He beat the number 1 fucking guy. That's how that
shit
works.
He's lost. Pretty recently, Shavkat has never
2 years ago
lost.
to be champion, and that has nothing to do with anything.
And Shavkat has fought every single person.
Who beat the number 1 guy? Who beat the number 1 guy? Who beat the number 1 guy? Who beat the number 1 guy?
I'm gonna smack him.
I'll smack you harder.
The thing is, okay, so the rankings panel, the way that they're gonna see the way the rankings panel is gonna see it is that they're gonna sit there and they're gonna be like, well, maybe Leon wasn't actually the number 1 guy. Maybe Leon wasn't the number 1 guy.
Yeah, so that I know. We're gonna figure all this bullshit out tomorrow, and it's gonna be some dumb shit. But I'm just saying
they're probably gonna make
number 1.
In my opinion, if we're going on rankings as they should be, I think in the ranking system as it is, Sean Brady should probably go to number 1. Yeah. But in my opinion,
and he can get the. Here's the thing.
I think Shavkat deserves the title.
Yeah, and that can happen. Sean can get the number 1 spot, and then still number 2 gets the title shot.
That's just dumb. I know that's how it works, but that's just dumb.
It just helps cement him for all right. He's the next one.
I know you guys are arguing over this, but I'm still holding on to the fact that I think it's just absolute dog shit atrocity that JDM got the title shot. I'm just saying. It's so fucking.
Listen, I don't know if he will, but if he does, I'm going to be a menace if he.
He's wins. Not, dude. It's gonna look like he's. Look.
Okay. Makes me think probably not, but I
don't. Okay.
I will be so much of a fucking menace to you, Knuckles, if he wins. If he pulls it off.
No, that's great. That's great. I just don't think
you hate on JDM like you hate on Jalen Turner.
JDM's better than Jalen Turner. I'll give him.
No, you fucking hate on him like you hate on Jalen Turner, and I will.
But can I list
do that hate if he wins?
Can I list a number of welterweights who I think would beat JDM in a fight right now? Ian Gary. Let's start with that one. Ian Gary, Shavkat, Bilal.
Bilal, no, don't agree.
Sean Brady, easily.
Easily.
Carlos Prates, I would pick him over.
Fuck no.
Yeah, that would be a good fight. I'd be really interested in that. That'd be really interesting.
Dude, distance, dude. Just distance. Fucking all.
Yeah, like
all
Randy Brown.
All I can think of when people mention Randy Brown is when JDM hit him and he did this weird thing where he rocked back and then ran. He managed to fall forward after getting rocked back.
You're talking about fucking
pretty goofy.
You're talking about Randy Brown compared to Carlos Prates.
I'm not, dude. You said the distance, and I just used an example because that's what people said.
Let me pull up. I'm gonna pull up all the people who let me tell you. So I'll just say the welterweights. Bilal, Buckley. I think Buckley could. I don't. That's a close one. Shavkat, Sean Brady, Ian Gary.
No.
Stephen Thompson. I think
Thompson?
Potentially.
Fuck off. I don't even want to hear the rest of this list.
MVP, I promise you, MVP would beat him. I would put the fucking house on MVP.
I would love to see that fight first off. That would be a fucking banger.
Loki Renat's ass, but Renat would be one that might fucking just tackle him and lay on him.
Potentially.
Yeah, so there's some but yeah, I don't he's good. He's just like, I don't see the vision, man. Like, he's good, but like, he's not. If he wins the championship, fucking awesome. That's great. He's gonna lose his next fight because he's either gonna have to fight Sean Brady or fucking Shavkat, and they're just gonna murder him. Like, it's not even like. And the thing is, that's why again, when we were talking about the welterweight thing in our preview podcast, I rate Sean Brady higher than I do JDM. He's good. He's good. He just isn't, to me, a championship level fighter. But he's getting the opportunity, and it could be there. And
Hey, he's also
as we know,
pretty. He could evolve into it, but yeah, this is way too early for him, in my opinion.
I think he needs one more
Steven Ersag, but listen, if he wins, I'm going to be a menace to society.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't think he's going to win, but I'm super interested because obviously we're all hot about this division, so it's going to be super interesting to see how things play out. So,
fucking A. Boys, this was fun.
Yeah.
That was good.
You ready to call it?
It was a heated one. Let's go. Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in for another episode of Stoking the Coals. This is actually my debut episode on Stoking the Coals. They usually do, previous card breakdowns, but we figured we might as well just throw this in here. It wasn't a fun card, so we're just talking about a division, and I mean, it's one of the most exciting divisions in the UFC, if not the most. Appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Squared will give the socials as we close this thing out, and then again, appreciate you guys tuning in. Knuckles, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, man, that was a good discussion. It was fun. I love talking about. I could probably do this all day. Like, legitimately, I could sit here for probably 12 hours a day talking about MMA. I just love it, man. So it was fun. Good little discussion, and yeah, I'm ready to see what is next for the whole division. Bilal's going to beat JDM, and yeah, let's go. Squared, you take it away from here, buddy.
All right. Start off by saying, fellas, ladies and fellas, don't forget to follow us on Twitter/X at bench_burner. Everywhere else, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, just any place, name it, we're there at Bench Burner Sports. Follow us there. Go ahead and like this video. Subscribe if you're not already. Share it to your crazy conspiracy uncle on Facebook. He'll love it. Because those are the kinds of dudes we vibe with. Yeah, fellas, it was a pleasure. Sean Brady supremacy lives on. He will be champ. He will get his get back. And it might be at the hands of Shavkat. It might be at the hands of
That's an interesting
It might be at the hands of JDM. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm telling you, that man's getting his belt. And we saw the foreshadowing of that just a couple days ago. And that's all I got to say.
Hell yeah.
All right.